The man Julian loved was getting married. He personally signed the official document. He wished them a long and happy life. On the day of the wedding, Julian was gravely ill. His remaining time was short. He never expected Caleb to burst into his room. Caleb wore a fine wedding suit. His face was pale with dread. He clasped Julian's hand tightly. He whispered that he had been wrong. The campaign in the borderlands was a success. The entire nation celebrated the victory. Caleb came to report after 2 weeks. He had not been seen for 3 months. He was tanner and thinner now. His crisp uniform could not hide his weariness. Julian's tense nerves finally relaxed. He wondered what reward to offer him. A generous bonus was a given. There were also new curiosities from a Western trade deal. After the formal meeting, Julian kept Caleb behind. He invited him to share a meal. Arthur, his aide, carried in a bowl of medicine. He said it was time for Julian's dose. The interruption soured Julian's good mood. He frowned with clear displeasure. Arthur held his breath, sensing the tension. Caleb calmly took the bowl from him. He casually asked about Julian's recent health. Arthur gave Caleb a grateful look. Before Arthur could answer, Julian spoke. His tone was dismissive and light. He said he was perfectly fine. He was well cared for inside the estate. He was protected from the wind and rain. He noted that Caleb had lost weight. With that, he took the medicine from Caleb's hand. He drank it all in one swift gulp. The sour, bitter taste made him want to gag. He had taken it for 10 years. He never got used to the foul flavor. Caleb brought him a piece of hard candy. The cloying sweetness spread across his tongue. Caleb's eyes were dark and serious. He told Julian he had a favor to ask. Julian gestured for him to continue. Caleb stood and then knelt on both knees. His gaze was heavy and direct. He said he had brought someone back with him. He asked Julian to authorize their legal union. The candy in his mouth now tasted acidic. He swallowed it with some difficulty. A practiced smile appeared on his face. He said a celebration was always welcome. He feigned curiosity about the lucky person. Caleb's lips parted slightly before he spoke. He explained that the person was a man. This man had saved his life. Julian repeated the word, uncertain. A man? Caleb nodded, his hands tightening into fists. For a moment, Julian lost his composure. He concealed it quickly with a small laugh. He said that if Caleb was happy, gender did not matter. So this was Caleb's preference. Caleb's expression was complex. He lowered his gaze to offer his thanks. Julian ignored the concerned looks from his staff. He called for wine to be brought. He insisted on drinking a toast with Caleb. Each glass felt like a knife in his heart. The pain was suffocating. He could not stop a single tear. It fell from his eye into the wine, created a small, brief ripple. He was thoroughly intoxicated. Caleb carried him back to his private wing. They passed a still, dark lake. A water bird skimmed across its surface. The splash echoed in the quiet night. Julian spoke in a careless, slurred voice. A life debt is repaid with one's own life. He remembered Caleb saving him once. Perhaps he should have offered himself instead. His mind drifted back 10 years. He had gone to the lake alone. His chronic illness felt like a constant failure. He felt hopeless and utterly defeated. The thought of ending it all consumed him. The feeling of suffocation had been real. Then Caleb had pulled him from the water. Caleb's own face had been red from the effort. Now Caleb's steps faltered on the path. He started to explain that saving him was his duty. Julian laughed, cutting him off. He claimed he was just drunk and talking nonsense. Their roles created an unbridgeable gap. He vaguely felt himself being laid on a bed. Someone gently removed his jacket and shoes. Before he lost consciousness, he grabbed at something red. He woke in the middle of the night. His hand was clenched around a piece of red cloth. A tickle in his throat became a violent cough. He felt like he would cough up his own lungs. Arthur rushed into the room in a panic. Julian stopped coughing and leaned against the headboard. He looked at his aide with tired eyes. He asked why he was in such a rush. Arthur wiped sweat from his forehead. He dropped to his knees. He explained he was worried about Julian. Julian had been drinking heavily earlier. Julian rose impatiently to pour some tea. The next moment, his throat filled with warmth. He covered his mouth with his hand. Blood seeped through his fingers. It dripped onto the expensive rug. Arthur trembled, his eyes wide with horror. He looked like a chicken being strangled. Julian stumbled, bracing himself on a table. He wiped the blood from his lips without expression. Arthur regained his senses. He scrambled toward the door to get help. Julian's sharp voice stopped him. "Arthur." Arthur froze in place. He turned back with a look of pure misery. Julian told him not to bother the old doctors. He just needed some warm water. Arthur's face was ashen. He slowly lowered his head in compliance. In the warm water, Julian cleaned his hands. The blood stain on the floor was scrubbed away. It was as if it never happened. He sat down at his large writing desk. He instructed Arthur to prepare his ink. Caleb's authorization document was not yet written. He dipped the pen in the dark ink. His hand hovered over the paper for a long time. A drop of ink fell, creating a black spot. He knew Caleb would marry someday. Why did it still feel so unbearable? The boy he loved was marrying someone else. How could he possibly bear it? But he knew he was not going to live much longer. The pen finally met the paper. Each stroke, each word was deliberate. Writing the short document took all his energy. Arthur carefully took the finished paper. Julian waved his hand dismissively. He told him to leave him alone. He was tired. The door closed softly. Julian forced himself back to bed. He could not suppress the cough any longer. He vomited a mouthful of blood. A grim smile touched his lips. He closed his eyes. He briefly resented Caleb for his own survival. Why did he have to save him? He was left to live this half-life. His thoughts drifted to other memories. At first, he and Caleb did not get along. Senator Hayes had chosen Caleb as his companion. Julian was the heir to a political dynasty. Caleb was a spirited young man from a military family. He was active, always moving like a restless animal. Julian was quiet and preferred to read for hours. One was motion, the other was stillness. They disliked each other intensely. On the surface, they were polite. Underneath, there was a constant tension. Neither would yield to the other. They competed in academics and sports. Each one wanted to be superior. One day, at an equestrian shooting competition, Caleb won. He was a vision of youthful confidence. He slowly rode back to Julian. His eyes held a hint of triumph. He offered a polite nod of concession. Julian gave a cool acknowledgement. He ignored the long red mark from the bowstring on his palm. Caleb received his award with a brilliant smile. Julian could never match Caleb in physical skill. He practiced diligently, but it was not enough. Caleb struggled with literature and classic languages. His tutors often disciplined him, but he had a natural gift for strategy and math. After the competition, the crowd dispersed. Julian stayed behind, practicing with his bow. He was unwilling to accept his defeat. He told himself to be more precise. His arrows began to lose their accuracy. He was just releasing his frustration now. None of them hit the center target. Your mind is not calm. You will not hit it. Caleb's lazy voice came from nearby. Julian looked and saw him leaning against a fence. He wondered how long Caleb had been watching. He looked down at him from his horse. He coldly denied having an unquiet mind. Caleb shrugged his shoulders casually. He said he was just telling the truth. He remarked that Julian's form would make his instructor weep. His teasing tone ignited Julian's frustration. He ordered Caleb to leave if he had nothing better to do. Caleb did not move from his spot. He stayed, shamelessly watching the spectacle. His playful gaze followed Julian's every move. It made Julian more anxious and insecure. He is laughing at me. The thought burned away his reason. Years of suppressed frustration erupted. He turned his horse sharply. He pulled back the bowstring. He aimed the arrow directly at Caleb. Caleb froze for a few seconds. Then he had the audacity to joke. "Is the target not working for you, sir? Did you want to switch to a new one?" The nearby attendants were horrified. They rushed forward, pleading with him to stop. Julian held his position. He asked with a cold smile, "And what if I do? Then I will be your target." Caleb stood up and fetched the target stand. He held it in front of himself. He stood there, not flinching. There was none of the fear Julian had expected. Felt like punching a cloud. His boldness was infuriating. He knew Julian would not dare to shoot him. Julian threatened him with a challenge. "Aren't you afraid I might miss? That this arrow could take your life?" Caleb showed no trace of fear. He grinned widely. "You will not know unless you try." Julian stared at Caleb's irritating smile. A voice in his mind screamed, "Shoot him, then you will finally have peace. Senator Hayes will stop comparing you to him. If you shoot him, you will always be first. The senator will not be disappointed anymore." The arrow flew like a cold star. It struck the direct center of the target. Caleb looked at the arrow in the target. He smiled and praised Julian's skill. An attendant nearby collapsed to the ground. Julian dismounted with a complex expression. He walked closer to Caleb. He could not help but ask the question, "Were you not afraid?" Caleb tossed the target aside. He swayed and then sat on the ground. He clutched his chest in mock terror. "Of course I was scared. For a moment there, I thought you would kill me. My legs are completely weak now." Julian scoffed, not bothering to reply. The anger in his heart had dissipated. It was replaced by a deep sense of regret. Caleb sat on the ground. He lazily held out a hand to Julian. "Help me up, won't you?" Julian turned his head away. It was a silent refusal. Caleb whined that his legs were really jelly. Julian hesitated for a moment. He slowly extended his own hand. Caleb smiled and grabbed it tightly. A sound of urgent footsteps came from behind them. An attendant was leading a doctor. Senator Hayes followed them. His face was a mask of cold fury. His sharp gaze fixed on Julian. His voice was low and dangerous. "Who taught you to behave this way?" The senator was truly angry. Julian lowered his eyes. "I know I was wrong." A hand suddenly tightened around his own. Caleb moved to stand partially in front of him. He tried to explain it was just a joke. Julian stared at Caleb's back. He gently pulled his hand free. He pointed a finger at Caleb's chest. "It was not a joke. My original target was right here." Caleb's face turned pale at his words. He was clearly frightened by the confession. Julian faced his guardian directly. He bowed his head. "I am ready to accept my punishment." The senator's expression remained severe. "Why did you want to kill him?" Julian was silent for a few seconds. He answered truthfully, "Because my skills are inferior to his. I could not stand being second place." Admitting it lifted a weight from his chest. The senator ordered the doctor to check on Caleb. They surrounded the other boy. Julian followed the senator to receive his punishment. His guardian administered it himself. Each lash of the whip was delivered with full force. He said a leader should not be so competitive. He must not disregard human life. For several days, Julian lay on his stomach. The pain kept him awake at night. He accepted the punishment willingly. He felt no resentment, only relief. But he worried Caleb would no longer be his companion. The thought brought a strange sadness. "Sir, sir." He heard a voice and looked toward the window. A head was poking through the frame. It was Caleb. Julian was surprised to see him. "What are you doing here?" Caleb climbed deftly into the room. He came closer to the bed. He sighed with mock disapproval. "You are hurt this badly and still reading?" He spoke as if to himself. "I heard you almost lost your life." Julian answered flatly that it was not serious. He said it was just a rumor. Suddenly, the thin blanket was pulled back. Caleb saw the crisscrossing welts on his back. He sucked in a sharp breath. He sounded incredulous. "You call this not serious?" Julian's face hardened. He snapped Caleb's name. Caleb met his gaze. His eyes held a deep sympathy. "It really hurts, doesn't it?" Julian lowered his head. He crumpled the page of the book in his hand. "Yes, it hurts a lot." He felt a gentle breeze on his back. He looked up to see Caleb. His cheeks were puffed out. He was blowing softly on the wounds. He looked silly and childish. Julian let out a small laugh. Caleb looked at him with a serious expression. He explained that blowing on it makes it hurt less. When he was little, his mother would do it for him. It was a comfort meant for a small child. But the pain in his back miraculously eased. It was just as Caleb had said. Blowing on it made it better. He drifted off to sleep. He woke up at dusk. Caleb was rubbing his own cheeks. He would rub them, then blow again. Julian had never noticed how foolish he could be. He watched him with a small smile. "Stop blowing on me. You will give me a cold." Caleb saw he was awake. His eyes lit up brightly. "Does it hurt less now?" Julian gave a soft sound of agreement. Caleb looked quite proud of himself. "See? I told you so." Caleb sat on the floor beside the bed. He pulled several small bottles from his coat. He lined them up on the bedside table. "I brought you some medicine. It works wonders for this kind of injury. This one is for pain. This one is for..." Julian felt a complex emotion rise within him. He looked down at Caleb. "Why?" Caleb's expression was open and honest. "What do you mean, why?" "I just wanted to bring you medicine." Julian looked away, unable to meet his eyes. "I am sorry," he said quietly. Caleb made a confused sound. Julian raised his voice slightly. "I said I am sorry." Caleb's face broke into a wide grin. He leaned in, cupping his ear. "What did you say, sir?" Julian's patience snapped. He grabbed Caleb's ear and twisted it. He was flushed with embarrassment and anger. "I said, get out of my room." Caleb rubbed his reddened ear. He was still grinning. "Seeing you have so much energy makes me feel relieved." Julian ignored him, wanting him gone. Being your target was my choice. It was exciting in a strange way. Julian stared at him, bewildered. He could not comprehend his logic. He waved a hand dismissively. "Just get out. Remember to use the medicine." After Caleb left, the room was quiet again. Julian looked at the bottles on his table. The sound of them clinking was pleasant. The next day, Caleb came again. He brought a stack of novels. He dropped them all onto the bed. He grinned and took the book from Julian's hands. "What is the point of reading this old poetry? Read these instead." Julian glanced at Caleb, who was now reading on the couch. He asked him coldly why he was not at his studies. Julian was injured and could not attend. Caleb had no such excuse. Caleb stammered for a moment. You? Julian smiled slightly. He instructed Arthur to escort Caleb back to the academy. He was to attend Professor Kingsman's lecture. The rigid Professor Kingsman was Caleb's least favorite teacher. Caleb always found an excuse to miss his class. Caleb panicked at the order. He protested loudly. "Sir, how can you be so ungrateful?" He was eventually overpowered and led away. Julian picked up one of the novels. He read until dinner was served. He had become completely engrossed. He looked at the book with a conflicted expression. This was truly a waste of a good mind. He called for Arthur. He had him lock all of Caleb's books in a chest. The third day, the fourth day, during his recovery, he and Caleb grew closer. Caleb brought him small gadgets and toys every few days. Julian locked them all away in chests. One chest after another filled a corner of his room. After he recovered, he returned to his studies. Caleb was now constantly by his side. He had grown used to his presence. But lately, Caleb had been disappearing after class. Without him, the silence felt lonely. He now understood that some noise was good. He remembered Caleb complaining once. "You just read reports and books all day. Your life is so incredibly boring." He put down the dense policy brief in his hands. He walked to the corner of the room. He opened one of the locked chests. It was filled with books and gadgets. They were all gifts from Caleb. Caleb liked interesting books, objects, and people. He was as vibrant and free as the wind. Julian was bound by rules and expectations. He had become a boring person in Caleb's eyes. Caleb had disliked him for that reason at first. He touched a novel on the top of the pile. He heard a noise at the door. He quickly closed the chest. He looked up to see Caleb approaching. Caleb swiftly opened the chest. He had a mischievous smile on his face. "What secrets are you hiding?" Julian's attempt to stop him was useless. Caleb saw the contents and paused. "Did not you say these things were a waste of time? Did not you say you threw them away?" Julian changed the subject awkwardly. "Why are you here?" Caleb's expression was knowing. He produced a lantern from behind his back. He handed it to Julian. It was a bit crudely made, but it had a charming, rustic appeal. Julian took the lantern. He noticed Caleb's hands. They were covered in small cuts and scratches. "You made this?" He sounded impressed. "Took me a lot of time. This is the best one I made." Caleb was beaming with pride. Julian looked down at the lantern. A quiet joy filled his heart. "Thank you." Making a lantern required patience. For Caleb to sit still for days was remarkable. The lantern was a precious gift. He realized the town festival was in a few days. He listened as Caleb described past festivals. The stories were exciting and vivid. They made him long to experience it himself. So when Caleb's eyes shone brightly, he asked, "Do you want to go see it?" Julian should have refused the invitation, but he found himself nodding yes. He counted the days until the festival. On the day of the festival, Caleb helped him sneak out. He felt like a bird escaping its cage. He stumbled toward an unknown freedom. The festival was as lively as Caleb described. In the crowd, no one knew who he was. He was like a drop of water in the ocean. He enjoyed his stolen moments of freedom. When they were tired, they boarded a boat. The distant shore was a blaze of light. The lake itself was much quieter. Only a few boats drifted on the water. The night wind was cool and refreshing. He took a sip of hot tea. Caleb nudged him with his shoulder. "Are you satisfied, sir?" Julian gave him a look. "My name is Julian tonight." Caleb immediately corrected himself. "Of course, Mr. Julian." They looked at each other and smiled. Suddenly, Their boat was bumped by something. Several small boats surrounded them. They were filled with masked men. Julian had forgotten his own identity. He had ignored his guardian's S. He had not considered the danger. The leader boarded their boat. He swiftly killed the boatman. The music stopped abruptly. The other passengers scattered and screamed. Caleb pushed Julian behind him. The attackers were clearly trained professionals. Spilled blood stained the deck. The air filled with a sickening smell. Julian was slammed against a pillar. He coughed up a mouthful of blood. He saw Caleb on the ground. He was wrestling with one of the attackers. He was holding onto the man's leg. His face was covered in blood. He yelled at Julian to go. The attacker raised a knife over Caleb. Julian's heart seized with terror. Stop! If he left, Caleb would surely die. He dropped the small knife he was holding. He surrendered. The man you want is me. He walked toward the leader. In a flash, he pulled a pin from his hair. He plunged it into the man's neck. Hot blood sprayed onto his face. He grabbed Caleb and pulled him toward the water. As they leaped, he felt a sharp pain. He fell into the icy lake. He coughed and more blood came out. He saw a blade protruding from his chest. He felt his strength rapidly fading. His limbs felt heavy and useless. His consciousness began to dim. He saw Caleb swimming toward him. He grabbed Julian, his face strained. He was struggling to keep them both afloat. He choked on water but did not let go. At this rate, they would both drown. Julian used his last bit of strength. He pushed himself away from Caleb. Caleb looked lost and helpless. He reached for him again. Julian shook his head at him. He mouthed the words, "Live on. Live for me." Caleb looked at him one last time. He turned and swam for the surface. His figure became blurry. Julian closed his eyes, relieved. Memories flashed through his mind. From learning to speak to his sudden inheritance. His father's unexpected death had changed everything. Senator Hayes was recalled to act as his guardian. The senator was strict with him. He said Julian's duty was to the nation. Every step of his life was planned. He was born to power and would die for it. Being buried in the lake seemed fitting. Maybe in the next life he could be a free bird. He did not know how much time had passed. He felt breath being forced into his lungs. He greedily inhaled. He saw Caleb's face close to his. When he truly woke, he was on an official boat. Caleb's face was deathly pale. He told Julian to hold on. He promised to find the best doctors. His voice was shaking from cold or fear. Julian whispered that he would get in trouble. Caleb's eyes were red, but he did not speak. He was usually so talkative. Julian coughed up more blood. Caleb frantically tried to wipe it away. He stammered, unable to form words. "Talk to me, Caleb." Caleb agreed, but his words were nonsensical. 3 days later, he woke in his own room. The old doctor was wiping sweat from his brow. Senator Hayes looked exhausted and worried. Caleb was nowhere to be seen. The senator saw he was awake and became furious. "Julian, do you know what you have done?" As the future leader, the staff all knelt in unison. "Senator, please calm down." He heard Caleb had been punished severely. He was recovering at home. The government was in a state of quiet panic. A sick, young leader could not protect the nation. Advisors began suggesting he choose a wife. He needed to produce an heir. His lessons now took place in his room. He no longer practiced riding or shooting. He was trapped in this small world. The tree outside his window changed with the seasons. He felt he was slowly going insane. He wanted a knife, a rope, anything to end it. But he could get none of those things. He found an opportunity to go to the lake. He walked quietly into the water. It was Caleb who noticed something was wrong. He pulled him out of the water again. He held Julian, his whole body shaking. He begged him to stay alive. Just live. I will do anything. Please do not die. The words stuck in Julian's throat. They finally emerged as a single word. Okay. He could not die. What would Caleb do if he died? From that day on, Caleb changed. He rarely smiled anymore. He became incredibly busy. He studied and trained relentlessly. He became the senator's protege. He earned command of the nation's security forces. He proved himself on dangerous missions. He became the sharp, loyal weapon in Julian's hand. He was a celebrated and feared commander. He became what Julian wanted to be. The carefree young man died in that attack. Last night, Julian's coughing of blood was severe. Arthur had the doctors waiting for him in the morning. They checked his pulse. Their faces were grim. They said nothing. Julian watched them with a faint smile. Why are you all so quiet? They fell to their knees. We are powerless to help you, sir. How much time do I have left? They hesitated, glancing at each other. Perhaps less than 6 months. Arthur's voice was sharp. How dare you? The doctors flinched. Arthur realized his mistake and knelt too. There must be another way. I will find Commander Caleb. He will know what to do. Julian's expression darkened. Arthur, I was not aware you had a new master. Arthur began bowing his head to the floor. I was wrong. I was wrong. His forehead started to bleed. Julian was irritated. Enough. He gestured for a doctor to treat Arthur. He felt tired and dismissed everyone. He stopped Arthur at the door. He warned him to hold his tongue. Arthur's posture was defiant. Sir, the commander loves you deeply. How can you treat him this way now? Julian laughed, but there was no humor in it. So, in your eyes, I am an ungrateful person? Arthur did not answer. Julian's frustration grew. Arthur, Caleb is getting married. He has found someone to spend his life with. He has guarded me for 10 years. I should let him go and be happy. He said the words for Arthur. He also said them for himself. Arthur's expression was tragic. His eyes were red. But who will bring you happiness, sir? Julian was stunned into silence. The door closed. He exhaled slowly. He loosened his grip on the blanket. He whispered, I cannot bear to let him go. The news of Caleb's marriage to a man spread quickly. The preparations were made with haste. Julian's health worsened each day. The medicine had almost no effect. He had to use makeup to hide his sickly pallor. Caleb rarely mentioned his impending marriage. He would change the subject quickly. But rumors said Caleb and his partner were deeply in love. Every time Julian heard this, it was like a needle to his heart. He often thought of taking Caleb with him when he died. But he could not bear the thought of Caleb not living. On the day of Caleb's wedding, Arthur helped him dress. In the mirror, his complexion looked surprisingly good. He did not need any makeup today. Arthur brought his medicine. His hands were trembling slightly. He choked back a sob. It is time for your medicine, sir. Today is the commander's wedding day. Is this any way for you to behave? Julian took the medicine and drank it down. Arthur wiped his eyes. You are right to scold me, sir. Caleb's family home was decorated beautifully. It was bustling with guests. Julian saw the person Caleb loved. He wore a celebratory suit. It made him look even more handsome. His eyes were intelligent and full of life. For a moment, he looked like the boy Caleb used to be. Julian could not bear to look for long. So, this was the kind of person Caleb liked. Caleb stood tall beside him. They looked perfect together. The vibrant red decorations made Julian's heart ache. He forced a smile to his lips. He managed to offer his congratulations. The vows were exchanged. The union was sealed. At that moment, Julian felt his heart being torn out. He felt hollow and empty. Warmth rose in his throat. He covered his mouth as blood poured out. It soaked his clothes. He was a complete wreck. The room descended into chaos. Caleb, in his wedding suit, pushed through the crowd. He picked Julian up in his arms. His hands were shaking uncontrollably. He tried to wipe the blood from Julian's mouth. He could not clean it all. Julian leaned against him. His blood stained Caleb's suit. He laughed at his own misfortune. "This is such bad luck. I should not have come." Caleb's face was as white as a sheet. His eyes were red with unshed tears. "Julian," he raised a hand to touch Caleb's face. He saw the blood on his own hand. He let it fall limply. He felt a deep sense of regret. "Why are you crying on your wedding day?" Julian was unconscious for 3 days. The government was in turmoil. Senator Hayes managed to maintain order. He prevented a major crisis from erupting. When Julian opened his eyes, he saw Caleb. He was sitting by the bed, looking haggard. He carefully helped Julian drink some water. He asked in a low voice why Julian had hidden his illness. Julian smiled weakly. "I have been fighting for 10 years, Caleb. I am tired." Caleb's eyes were bloodshot. He looked like a trapped animal. "What about me? If you die, what am I supposed to do? You always dreamed of a quiet life. You wanted to travel and be free. The country is safe now. The senator is in charge. You are free to go. Take your husband and live the life you wanted." Caleb shook his head. "That is not what I want." Julian's eyes burned. "Caleb, please let yourself go. And let me go too. What happened 10 years ago was not your fault. I have never regretted that night." Caleb shook his head again. His voice was thick with emotion. "Cannot do it." His words completely broke Julian's resolve. He felt a renewed desire to live. He closed his eyes. Kushal. The door opened. It was Leo, Caleb's husband. He wore a bright, stylish suit. Julian was surprised to see him. Leo held out a bowl of medicine. "Here, drink this." Caleb took the bowl from him. He began blowing on it to cool it down. The motion was practiced and familiar. Leo frowned, his arms crossed. He looked annoyed. The atmosphere in the room was strange. Julian forced himself to sit up. He managed a weak smile. "Thank you, Mr. Leo." Leo turned his head and snorted. Julian was not offended by his attitude. He took the medicine from Caleb. "You have been here for days. You should go home and rest." Caleb started to speak. Leo cut him off with a wrinkled nose. "He has been here for 3 days and nights. He has not slept at all. We did not even have a wedding night." The hot medicine sloshed in the bowl. It spilled onto Julian's hand, turning it red. He did not feel the pain. Caleb's face grew cold. "Leo, that is enough. This is not your home." Leo glared back at Caleb. "Am I wrong? Have your eyes left him for 1 second? I am the one you married." Julian suppressed a sharp pain in his chest. He forced a smile and apologized. "Mr. Leo, this is my fault." He called for Arthur. He gave him a quiet order. A moment later, several large chests were brought in. They were opened to reveal jewels, gold, and fine silks. "Please accept these as my apology. If it is not enough, I can find more." Leo's eyes lit up. He went to inspect the items closely. "This is more than enough." His reaction was not greedy, but refreshingly honest. Caleb looked on with a dark expression. He pulled Leo back to offer a formal thank you. After they left, Arthur commented on Leo. "That young man has a childish spirit." Julian watched them leave. He lowered his gaze and smiled. There were tears in his eyes. Leo became a frequent visitor. Julian should have been jealous of him. Instead, he found himself admiring him. He saw in Leo a version of the young man Caleb could have become. Leo was from a family of famous doctors. He was a brilliant physician in his own right. He was also proud and a bit arrogant. He spent his time arguing with the other doctors. He was a splash of color among the gray-haired men. Now, Julian was frail and thin. Walking a few steps left him breathless. The amount of medicine he took increased daily. It had little effect. One day, Leo took his pulse. A shadow crossed his face. His hands clenched at his sides. Julian understood. He spoke softly. "Please, take me outside into the sun." Leo said nothing. He lifted Julian into a wheelchair. On the way, they saw staff hanging lanterns. He realized it was the festival again. Julian spoke first. "You are a very skilled doctor. My body would not have lasted this long without you. Do not blame yourself for this." Leo's reply was harsh. "I will not blame myself. Everyone has their own fate. Stop being so self-important." Julian smiled. "Good." After a short silence, Leo spoke quietly. "I promised Caleb I would save you." Julian acknowledged his words. "I am the best doctor in my family. No one is supposed to die under my care." "You are very impressive," Julian praised him. Leo's voice trembled slightly. "But I cannot save you," he continued, his voice cracking. "You are a terrible person. You torture Caleb and now you torture me. I should have never left my home." His words painted Julian as a villain. Julian listened quietly. He felt a drop of water on his hand. He started to look up. "Do not look up," Leo snapped. Julian heard him sniffle. He could not help but smile a little. "I am not dead yet. Why are you crying?" "It is none of your business, you monster." Leo stopped hiding his tears. He stood in front of Julian, his eyes red. "What are you smiling at? Are you happy to see me cry?" "I am not crying for you. I am crying because I was foolish enough to fall for Caleb. He is a man completely in love with you. And I am crying because I am not good enough. I thought my medical skills were unmatched. I thought I could save anyone." Julian was stunned. His heart leaped. Caleb loved him. The initial joy was quickly followed by a great fear. He sighed and offered Leo his handkerchief. Leo wiped his face messily. "Why can't you be a little more unlikable? If you were a worse person, this would not hurt so much." Julian made a decision. He looked directly at Leo. "All right, I will be a worse person. On the day of the festival, can I borrow Caleb?" Leo scoffed at him. "Who wants him? I was blind. I am going to divorce him when I get back." "Thank you." Julian now understood the purpose of the marriage. Arthur had been secretly in contact with Caleb. When Caleb learned of Julian's condition, he acted. He went to find the legendary family of doctors. He rescued Leo from an accident on the difficult journey. That was how he gained access to their clinic. Leo had fallen for Caleb. He agreed to the marriage as a condition to come save Julian. On the day of the festival, Julian took a special medicine. Leo had prepared it for him. It brought a touch of color to his pale face. His appetite was better than it had been in weeks. He had a meal with Senator Hayes and his wife. Before getting into the car, he bowed to his guardian. "Uncle Hayes, I am going now." The senator nodded, his eyes a little red. "Julian, you have done very well all these years." His wife turned away, wiping her eyes. Julian smiled. He had finally received the approval he always wanted. Arthur helped him into the car. The festival was just as bright as it was 10 years ago. He saw Caleb waiting for him. He helped Julian out of the car. This time, there was no need for a disguise. He walked openly into the crowd. In the throng of people, Caleb took his hand. He protected him from being jostled. Julian looked at him. His eyes were filled with a deep sadness. Julian tightened his grip, lacing their fingers together. "Just enjoy this with me." He walked slowly, taking in every sight. He wanted to engrave it all in his memory. He stopped at a small stall. He picked up a wooden hairpin. It was similar to the one he had used 10 years ago. Caleb paid for it. When they were tired, they took a boat onto the lake. The music was beautiful. The dancers were graceful. The boat reached the center of the lake. Caleb's face was pale, his body tense. Julian squeezed his hand. "Caleb, it is time to move on." Caleb pulled him into a tight embrace. Hot tears wet Julian's neck. "Julian, take me with you." After a long moment, Julian held his face. His heart ached with love and regret. "You have to live, travel the world, see everything for me. Is that an order?" he asked. Julian shook his head. "It is a hope. The same hope you had for me 10 years ago." Caleb's face was twisted in pain. "As you travel, you will have to tell me everything." The boat was suddenly bumped. Caleb released him, instantly alert. He drew a concealed weapon. A small boat pulled up alongside them. Leo was waving from it. He was shouting happily, "Do not be in such a hurry to say goodbye. He can still be saved. My mentor, who has been traveling, has returned. I told you no one dies under my care." Julian and Caleb stared at each other. Julian was the first to laugh. Caleb put away his weapon. He held out his hand to Julian. He took it without hesitation. This time he would live for himself.